Hello, welcome back here. Good morning or good afternoon, I guess. Having a late start. Feel like still morning. Today we have amazing guest again back here with us. Mari-san with Jikiden Reiki with Mari. Is that right?
Yeah.
Jikiden Reiki with Mari.com.
Mhm.
And she is our special guest. And we are Paul and Satomi from Sakaso.ca.
Mhm.
And today's topic is the title is "Live Fully Till We Die" or "Till You Die." So why are we talking about this? It's actually probably last time when we got together, Marisa and us got together, just brainstorming what we talk about, and then we both, I don't know which one came first, but we both start talking about how about death. And one brought up the topic, how about death, and then we were like, yeah, we want to talk about death, right? And I was feeling like, oh my God, somebody else wants to talk about death other than me. And it's huge topic and so deep. And it's so many people are not comfortable talking about death, right? And they avoid to talk about death and they avoid to face death, right? And Marisan and I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. And so we are actually so excited about this today's Ether. Thank you very much for coming. And it's not like we're not looking at death lightly, and
it's a very
right?
serious
It's
thing.
very serious and very deep,
Mhm.
and we appreciate and respect fully, and that's how we came up to this topic, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Yes, as you said, that we as we get to know each other, we both have a many experience with the losses in the past. So I guess we just look at the death from the different view. So when I realized that, okay, I have somebody to talk about death. Yes. Yeah. We couldn't stop that time, and Paul was like, okay, stop. Let's keep it for some other time.
We were both ready to talk about this last time, and Paul like, let's settle down a little bit. Let's wait a little bit. Wait. But yeah. So, Mari-san, you said you have lots of deaths in your life, starting early, and I have too. But can you tell us what's the relationship with you and death between death and you? How you come to this state where you are right now?
Yes, sure.
With death.
Yeah, so there's many story up until here, but I started with my father, who died at the age of 39, and I was 4, and it was a simple medical mistake. Doctor made a mistake that they didn't know it was a mistake, but they made a mistake to the medication, and then he had an allergic reaction, and within 10 days, that healthy body declined and then was gone. So that was early introduction to the death at the age of 4. And so my mother became single mom with 3 children, 3 girls. I was the youngest. And so we moved to my mother's hometown and moved into grandparents' place. So, and then there was a great grandmother was also living in and out, not all the time, but in and out with us. So I was living in a 4 generation, great grandmother, grandparents, and my mom, and then us. That was that was the situation. So eventually, that my mother had to look after my parents, my grandparents. So grandfather was ill and grandmother was ill, and then they both passed away, and great grandmother. I can't remember the exact order, but from the young age, I was witnessing the death right at home. And then during that time, that the many, I only see myself in that screen. Is that okay?
No, that's okay.
Main speaker, right?
Literally, it's live stream. Like, okay, so yeah, so good. Good. So, but during that time, I lost quite a few people by accident, and that was the thing that changed my view to look at the death. One of the uncle, he went to work, and then on the way back from home, from work, he tripped down the stairs in the station, and he hit his head in the wrong way, and he never came home. So that was a sudden death, that he went to work and then he never came back, right? So you never know what's happened next day. He was completely healthy, and then it was an accidental death. And then another uncle, he went to different countries to work as part of his work, and it had I believe it was a heat stroke, and he never came back from the business trip. So it's another accidental death that we were expecting that he would come back, but he never came back from work. And another uncle was he went out for lunch, and to pick up a lunch for his wife. He was already elder, but he decided to eat the lunch at the restaurant and order the lunch for his wife. And as he ate, the broccoli stuck on his throat, and then he just suffocated himself, and he passed away. So that's another thing, that he went out for lunch and expecting that he's going to come home with the lunch, but he didn't come home. So that kind of thing happens over and over, and then eventually, like as from that young age, you look at the death, you look at the life, that okay, you never know what happens next day. So so why don't we live now, and why don't say thank you? Why don't we ask questions? Why don't we communicate now? So then we don't lose a chance. Yeah, so that was my upbringing, and also I grew up in a fairly faithful Buddhist family, so the Buddhist ritual was constant. So what happens is, in Japan, probably for the viewers who don't know Japanese culture or Buddhist culture, we have certain ritual after the death, and an initial viewing right after the death, and then official funeral, and every 7 days, Buddhist monk comes to the house and do the chanting, the Buddhist chanting, and at the 49 days is the actual burial of the ash, and we actually bring the ash to the graveyard, and that's another ritual. And then after that, the memorial service is first year, third year, seventh year, 13th year, 17th year, and 25th, 33 year, and then 50th years. So all these years, they keep track of it, and who died when, and this year is the 13th year of so and such memorial service. This year is the 7th year. The other years is 17th year. So basically, if you are in a big family, you are going to the Buddhist temple every year for somebody. And so that's how I grew up. And so as a child, you go to the temple and then go through the service and then rituals, and then listen to the chanting, which for me as a young child back then, it was completely boring thing. Just sit there and listen to something that you don't understand. And also after that, you still have to sit on the floor, kneeling on the floor, and listen to the Buddhist monk who's lecturing about the life and death. And again, you don't, as a child, you don't understand what's the death, and because you don't have any experience of the life yet. So it was again boring time for me. And my mom's like, sit quietly or don't fish it. And I was like, okay, sit. But looking back, that was a great teaching because I can apply it now. So that's one of the things that impacted me to look at the death from a different view. That's my background.
Yeah. So it's like Marisan had so many death experience when she was young, and I did too. Actually, my case started with my mom, and I was 5. And she was 29, and I don't remember. I blocked it out, so I have no memory up till maybe 6-ish, and then no memory of my mom, and then she had a heart problem, and then she went to surgery, and she never came back, right? And so that was that. And then it's amazing that your life, Marisan's life, and my life has similar thing. And I was living in a 4-generation family, and which wasn't common, right? Like, so great grandparents and great grandparents, and my dad and my aunt was living still with us, and we had like big, like 9 of us eating dinner together, kind of thing. And then that's just started. We kind of half moved in with uh, uh, great great grandparents and grandparents' place. They were living together after my mom's death. Um, we kind of half moved in, and so we were pretty much living there. And then within a year, my mom's death, both great grandparents passed away. Like I said, I don't remember. I don't have a memory of them passing, but just too traumatic, and it just went boom, boom, boom. And then, and then when I was 15, grandma died, who was like a mom for me after my mom's death, and she was taking care of us the whole time, and that was sudden death. I came home from school, and I saw her, my grandma, kind of on the floor under the table, the Japanese table, very low table, like a coffee table kind of thing. And so she was her head was under there, like a low table. And then I was just passing by, and I thought she was picking up something under the table, right? Um, so I passed and went to my room, and I changed, and then came back to the same place. And then my younger brother, he was sitting right beside grandma, and just looking at her, and just not moving, not talking. He's just looking at her. This is weird. What's going on? And then realize, okay, she's not moving. She hasn't moved since I came home, like 15, 20 minutes, and my brother's there. Don't know what to do. And then trying to wake her up, and no response. And I called grandma, grandma, grandma from upstairs, and we called ambulance, and but she never came back. So that one I remembered, and it hit me very strong. Other ones probably hit me strongly too, but I don't remember how it affected me. But that one affected me, and I didn't want to believe that she was gone, right? It was too much to take. But finally, I realized, okay, this is not a joke, right? This is real, and she is gone. And then looking back, and so many people already passed away. Like we had 4 funerals already when I was 15. And in Japan, we have funeral in our house, right? Our home turned into funeral house just that day, and it's just black and white everywhere. And then so, and that's kind of traumatic too. It's your home but not home anymore. It's a funeral house, right? And then so many things. It's just crazy. And then I went through 4 times already doing funeral at our own place, right? And then realize, okay, everybody is gonna die, right? I didn't take it like a peacefully. I was pretty mad and I was pretty upset, but the message was strong. Everybody's gonna die, right? And that's the one only thing that equal to everyone in this universe. Everybody's gonna die, right? And then I had to accept that. And like I said, I wasn't accepting it gracefully and peacefully, but I did accept. And then over years, I became peace with it. Like, okay, so that's okay. And then for going through those things, I don't know what I did, but I let go of the fear of death. That they showed me that, that everybody's gonna die, right? And then don't know when you're gonna die, and then that's gonna happen, and you always have to be ready, right? And then and also the other thing is do I do feel the love from the other side who passed away, right? And I do feel that we protected. So so by feeling it, I could let go of the fear of death, right? And there's something after, and then they're full of love, and I can feel it. And then by me dying means reuniting with those people in a way, right? And then, oh, if I die, I can see my mom. I don't even remember. I hope I can recognize her, kind of thing. And I want to see my grandma, right? So that's kind of thing helped me to let go of the fear of death. And then, so when once you let go of fear, you can live fully, right? And you can, if you are in fear, your energy and your vibration and it just gets low and gray and small, and then you're not living fully. You're not being your powerful self, authentic self, right? And but once you let go of fear, um, you can do so much stuff with love. And yeah, so that's why why and how I came to this space that this having this relationship with death. That it's not it's not something that you are afraid of, but something that it shows us and teaches us some important thing, right? So if you face the death in a way every day, and like Marison saying, you never know when you're gonna die. So today might be the last day, and then you want to live fully this last day, right?
Mhm.
And then you do that every day, and then you are living fully till you die, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I lost family members too. But the funny thing is, I don't remember ever being afraid of death. I don't know if it was because when I was very young, my grandmother passed, and it was just, a few days after that I saw her spirit. And that was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life, because I could see her and it was amazingly beautiful. I can't describe it well. And it made me feel so, it kind of stops your whole world when when that happens. And she just basically, her message was everything's going to be all right. And I don't know how much that affected my attitude towards death, but it just never was something that I was afraid of. Of course, if there's danger, you get that emergency feeling, right? It's not like I'm casual and don't care.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's not like in general you don't fear death, right? It's not like I'm not afraid of getting hit by car. It's a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get hit by car, right? Okay, the car's coming. You stay there, and you're gonna be dead. No, I don't want. It's not. It's not that, right? It's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dread,
Yeah.
right? It's and it's like I've never had a problem talking about it, or dealing with subjects around it. But yeah, you always gotta take care of yourself and other people as much care as possible. But I mean, so Mari, how did this affect the way, like, you you believe it, as I understand, that you want to make every moment count in your life because of those experiences, right?
Yes.
What does that mean for you exactly? Does that mean like I'll just say myself, I believe that does not mean, and the basic message that we have here is not like, live fast, die young, right? Just like party, 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 no responsibility, because, we're all going to die, blah, 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 right? Nothing like that. It's more like shift on perspective that's what I believe, is a shift of perspective that allows you to make this moment something more. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I can hear my voice from somewhere.
No, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do my best to live in the moment. So I do, like, this is the best day of my life. Like, so that's what I'm focused, and what can I do now? And then this is my whole my life. I decided this is the best day of my life, and if I so rewind a little bit. So one of the most impactful death of my life was my mom's death, and I already talk about it on online and then a local TEDx Chilliwack talk, and I talk about my mom's death. So if anyone is interested in looking at that part of my the experience, just you can just go to the TEDx Chilliwack and type my name, Mary Okazaki. So after my mom took her life, and my life completely changed upside down, and then with the death, the look at the view of the death again changed, or level up or level down or whatever. I just had that completely different view. And but at that moment, losing the mother who was a single mom, so she was a mother and father, and we were really close relationship. So she was my sister and my best friend, and I could talk anything, and she cooked a beautiful meal and yummy dinners and desserts, and so she was really everything, and losing her in an instant, and then in one day it was really devastating, and at that time my older sister already had a family, and then she had a purpose. To me, from my view, she had a purpose to live with somebody else. And the other sister was a Down syndrome, so she moved to the facility, special needs facility. So somebody was looking after her. And to me, at that time, I felt really alone, and then I didn't feel like I want to live. That time, I didn't feel like I have a purpose to live for somebody else. And then why do I live for myself? And then looking at myself, and if I die now, then probably no one miss me, and it doesn't impact anyone because I'm alone. So that was my initial thought. But so there's a time that I was standing on the corner of the intersection and looking at the car, and oh, I wish that car hit me so that I can go. Or I go up on the work site office and go up to the top of the building and looking down. Oh, if I jump from here, maybe I can die instantly. But then I was thinking my sister's feeling that she just went through what I'm going through. Like she lost her mom, just like I lost my mom. And I thought if I die in the same way, that would really devastate my sister. So I must live. That's what I thought. I have to live so then she doesn't have to go through it again. So that was my purpose to live. I just don't want anyone to feel sad. And yeah, so then at that moment, it switched from if I can't die, I have to live. If I'm living, then I have to live fully. So that was the moment that I started to change. And then, but I knew that life's not going to be forever. I knew that death's going to come sooner or later. So it came to the conclusion that I have to live this moment. I have to make this moment the best thing. So then when I'm gone, next moment or next day, I live the best in the last moment. So I want to go in that way. Yeah, so I don't know if I answered the question from Paul, but yeah, so that's my way of living moment to moment.
Oh, absolutely. That answers it. I mean, basically, life is a string of moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're choosing in this moment right now to make the most out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and to make it matter, because and you're doing that because what you're saying is you're doing that because it may be your last one, right? You want it to mean something. You just want to do something right now so that when you're gone, that your life made a difference in some way in the world, that you had a positive effect on the people around you,
Mm-hmm.
that and you know, I think you also agree that there's something after death, right? There's a life after
Absolutely.
death, and that we want to be able to go into that into that phase in our existence, having done what we could, right, while we're here. We don't have a lot of power, right,
Right.
in our lives, right? We don't have the power to change the way the world works that much, but we have the ability to affect our world, right? The world right around us.
Mhm.
And I think that's what you're saying, is that you just focus on doing that right now,
Mhm.
and then in the next moment you do the same thing, and the next moment you do the same thing, and
Right.
by the time you get through your day, by the time you get through your week, your month, your year, your life, you it you've made the most of what you can do. It doesn't is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right. And also, not everybody experienced this many death in a young age, right? So, and then I got through it, and then I came to the conclusion. Like I read many different things, and I have a mentor who guided me through. But through that experience, I really believe that if people grieve well, they can live well. So I really want to be a good example of that. That I went through the many grieving, but I'm living well. And if I could be an example, that I don't have to preach anyone, no, I don't have to teach anyone. But if I can be myself and be a good example, then maybe it can shed light to those people who are currently grieving. And then I believe that the only cure to the grief is to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
Can't hide it. You have to face it. And
You
and
push
it's
it away.
right, yeah. And many people that it's so painful. I understand it's so painful and sad, but I understand that you can't put it away. You have to keep opening that box of the grieving, and you have to look at it, and then the box will start to get lighter and lighter. And yeah, so that's yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's okay to be sad. It's
Mhm,
okay to be angry,
mhm,
which I was angry at
mhm.
my mom of death. Like, why did you leave me? That was
Yeah.
teenager time. Like everybody had for girls. And teenager girls, their moms are their best friends. I had to live through that couple years of teenager, and all my friends, and then come to school on Monday. And what did you do on the weekend? Oh, I went shopping with my mom, and I went this,
Aw, yeah.
and I had to listen to that
Mhm.
every Monday. And that was really hard, and I was so mad, and I was crying every day. That those years, pretty much I was crying every day,
Yeah.
all by myself, because I didn't want to share with my dad, my grandpa. I was kind of hiding that, and then pretending I was okay, right? But that was really hard, and I was
Mhm.
really mad. And then came to the point, okay, it's not her fault, of course.
Yeah.
It's not her fault, and there's some message that I need to receive from her death. That's what it came to. I came to that conclusion. This is some kind of message, right? And then I was what I was thinking is that probably in my past life I did pretty bad thing to my mom in
Oh,
the past life, and that I'm given this life to feel the pain and in me, and so I wouldn't do that again, kind of thing. I
mm,
kind of made up that story and that, but it still actually helped me, right? Okay, so
mhm,
this is my lesson, right?
mhm,
I gave myself a lesson this
mhm.
pain so I can learn something, right?
Yeah.
So that was like when I was um, around my grandma died. That's 15, and around that time, right, 13, 14, probably that was the I was most angry at my mom, and then after that it settled down, and my grandma passed away, so it was pretty rough. But yeah, I came to the conclusion, okay, this is my lesson, and I need to learn this one, right?
Mhm,
I respect the lesson that I'm giving myself, and so I shouldn't run away or I shouldn't
Mhm.
stay mad, right? And so that's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
That kind of saved me and finish the processing of
Yeah.
the grief.
So what
Mhm.
was the message again that you took from that
So
from passing?
so it's like I'm I so the first thing was like okay, I did something bad to my mom in the past life,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm
Try to
giving myself pain that if you for in a relationship between my mom and myself, because I destroyed the relationship, so I'm receiving this pain between mom and myself and by losing my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so okay, so that was first it came to my mind, and then realize, okay, this is a lesson for myself. I'm doing it for myself, right? So I can learn something, learn from this pain, right? And then so instead of just being angry at this pain, I want to learn something, and then I want to appreciate my mom, um, giving being in this position with me, and then giving me a lesson, right? As a team kind of thing,
Mhm.
and so and then I start to come to this thoughts in shifting from anger to appreciation. Then I start to feel the more connection with my mom, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and then I could feel I'm getting emotional here, but
Mhm.
I'm trying to hold my tears, and then as soon as I say tears coming more, but I can feel my mom and happy, happy that I'm feeling grateful, right? And then okay, so yeah, that was the lesson, and I'm the lesson keep going on, but I am learning.
Yeah.
But when I was just angry, I
Mhm.
wasn't. I was. It just. I was just hurting myself, right? Uh,
Mhm.
didn't um, didn't help anything. It was just making the situation worse. But then I hit the I hit the wall. I hit to the get to the point that I cannot be angry
Mhm.
anymore, and then that somehow I was able to switch to gratitude and thank you very much for this pain, and
It's definitely a learning process, right? Like it makes us really strong. And what many um, people are looking at the death in a negative way, or only the sad thing, that I would like to share that, you know, when I share about my experience losing my father at the young age and losing my mother and by suicide, they're like, I'm so sorry to hear that. And but I said, it's okay, it's okay. No, this is a blessing now. And it's you can't pay enough money to learn this beautiful lesson if you make it into the lesson. Yeah.
mm,
And like yourself, Satumi-san, I lost my father in a young age. So as a child, the grieving doesn't come right away. It comes
mhm,
later. There's a time difference. You don't really understand the death at the age of 4 or 5 years old. And it's just life just carry on. And then when you hit 13, 14, around that age, you start to realize, wait a minute, everybody has a father.
mhm,
Everybody has somebody who's bringing in money and then being strong at home, but not me. And that's the time that child starts to grieve for that empty spot,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so I did go through that, friends talking about the father, and oh, my dad came home working after work, and he was drinking too much, and he was so stinky. I didn't want to even touch him. And like, you can touch him, but I can't touch him. You have to be grateful for that. You can hug and touch and have a conversation. And yeah, so that kind of struggle definitely was there. But what interesting is that I had the conversation with my sister, who's 6 years older than me. So that means that when my father died, she was 10 years old. So that means that she has more memory with him. I was 4, so I have only memory was at his funeral and his viewing, and that's it. And I don't remember. So we were making conversation with my sister that she asked me that you don't have any memory of our dad, and I said no. And oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I said, and then I said to her that, but you have lots of memory with dad. So you lost, like, you have father, but you lost him. But for me, he's not there is a normal for me. So it feels like I didn't lose anyone. You know what I mean? He's always there in a different form. So I didn't feel like I lost somebody, but to her, she lost somebody. So I said to her that I'm sorry to hear that you feel like you lost a father. So it's a different view, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, so that's the message that from one's passing is that you need to make it into the blessing and then learning, and then you gain something from this beautiful teaching.
Yeah. It's like it's not easy, right? We didn't like just went through,
No,
and that was fine. It's not like that. We went through like crazy pain,
no.
and like whole my elementary school, and like cause my mom wasn't there, and my dad was pretty much the only guy when they come to school events, right? Everybody else's mom comes, like in Japan regularly we have open house, and parents come to see kids classes, right? Like a sankanbi,
Right,
and yeah, my dad was the only one. And then
male.
school picture, right? And the first, maybe it's just the first one, grade one. Parents are in there too. The kids and the parents, the whole classroom, kids and parents, right? My dad is the only one, and everybody else is mom, right? And then I lived through um, the whole elementary school, and uh, my parent was the only male, and everybody else was female, and it's like it's just feeling different, and
Right. Mhm.
and it's just it wasn't. I kind of numb that feeling sad or painful, so I don't have to feel it every time, right? But it was there, and it wasn't easy, and then like a divorce wasn't happening at all
Right.
back then, right? Everybody had parents, both
Both
parents,
parents, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and then they assume that I have mom too, right?
Mm.
'Cause nobody thinks that I don't have mom, and then they said, people say, if I was working with my dad, right, and then they just innocently they say, "Oh, where's your mom?" Right,
Mhm.
and I don't know what to answer,
Yeah.
right? And it just um, it hurt my feeling because and it was hard.
I guess that the school system back then is so normal to have both parents. So yeah, so looking back, they just didn't know, like they didn't really consider that somebody is suffering with a one single parent. Like for example, back then you have a classroom list, you know, that all the names are written down and phone number and address, and in that class list, you have to have a guardian name. So the Mary Okazaki and my mom's name, and you have to have it's mom or dad. And usually the guardian of the family is a father. So usually it's father, 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 father. And suddenly my line is the mother and the father, 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 father. So it's obvious that I don't have a father. And that kind of thing was odd for me, that and then my mom would march down the school and, why do you have to have this list of father or mother? You don't have to know about it. You know? She's being mother there, right?
Similar thing too.
Yeah, and I would come home with on a Father's Day. Everybody was making red flour to give to the father. But my teacher said, well, you don't have a father, so you can make a white flour. And in my mind, as a child, okay, my father is up there, so it has to be the white flour. So I come home with a white flour and try to give to my mom, and then say the story about, okay, everybody else was making red flour, but my teacher told me to make a white flour because my father is dead already. She marched down the school and, okay, why?
Yeah. Yeah, I had similar story. I think I shared with you, but we were making the flour. Yeah, we were making the flour for Mother's Day, right, at school, and teacher of course knew that I don't have mom, so and then to the class, right, you don't have to make it for your mom, you can make it for your grandma or somebody else, right? But I knew she was just talking to me.
Yeah.
And I made it. I made the flour like everybody else, but I just didn't like it. On the way home, I just threw it away. I didn't give it to my mom, my grandma. I wasn't.
You were
happy.
still mad.
I was still mad,
Yeah.
and
That's all part of making us strong, and you know, people just don't experience that way so often. But I guess it's the lesson for individual, like for us, that I don't know why I had to be so strong, but the situation made me go through that kind of that kind of environment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is a lesson, right? So it's really take it as just no, life sucks. Life is giving me a lesson, right? Like I said, it's okay to be mad, okay to be sad, and once you let go and experience the feeling, strong feeling, and then process it and let go, and then you can accept the lesson and you can grow, right? So, but yeah, and the one thing I want to share is the exercise I do, not, I don't know, you can call it exercise, but the things I do regularly to live fully every day is, especially when I'm not centered, right? And I'm angry or frustrated. And then when I catch myself, this is what I do is, and I ask myself, if I die tomorrow, if today is the last day, is this what I want to be? Being angry, is this the Satomi I want everybody else to remember as me having the last day, right? And if we're having an argument, and if this is the last day, do we do I want to end relationship just having an argument, or
Mhm.
end it, and then make it up and I'm happy, right? And if I'm angry and having fight, and if I die, he might feel some feeling that, oh, I the last day we were fighting, right? And instead of just accepting Satomi and then just loving her, we ended up fighting and she's gone now, right? He would feel bad too, and I would feel bad too. So if today is the last day, no, I don't want to be this way. I want to show some smile, right? Or like if today is the last day, do I want to take this offer, right?
Mhm.
I might be the last chance to take this offer, then I want to give it a try and take this
Mhm.
offer kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So
Like a job offer or something.
yeah, job offer or
Or
anything.
just something fun to do.
Something that you are
You've always wanted to do.
holding back from it,
Mhm.
right? If today is the last day, I want to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So by doing that, you are living fully. And I ask this question very often. I don't know when I started doing it, but for a long time, all my life, I've been, if today is the last day, because I think that's the message from the other side.
Mhm.
Mom and grandparents and great grandparents probably sending me the question like, if today's the last day, is that what you want to do? Right? And okay, I guess not. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and that really helps to switch off and shift uh, and then back to centered.
Mhm.
Really helps. And yeah.
Yeah. Back
Mm-hmm.
to centered and also making choices that you are that you really feel in your heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like you're saying, an opportunity to do something, like something you always wanted to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, it's then if you like so many of us we live our lives. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was in my previous career, I was doing software development, and I did not enjoy it. I was
Mhm.
working for a corporation, and it was in some senses a very good quality kind of position to have, but it was also extremely stressful, and the term soul destroying does get thrown around, and I wanted to do what was meaningful to me, right? I've always wanted to do that, and that's what we're doing now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So doing Sakaso.ca, this is what's meaningful to me, is actually being able to connect with people and help them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Help them with their healing, with finding their way, right? So it's like, and I know that's the same for you, Mary, is being the work that you do. You do your work from your heart, right? You put your heart and soul into your work. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like that. It's like that for us. And if you don't, if you think that you're going to live, another 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50, whatever, there's no hurry to do what's important,
Yeah, and
right?
then
What
you,
they
you
even put in
can
on.
always have excuse not to do, right?
Yeah,
Oh, there's always tomorrow,
yeah.
and then I'm not feeling for it, so I won't
Hmm.
do it.
Or it's
But
too hard,
yeah,
it's a
Right.
risk, or something like
mm-hmm,
that. There's lots of reasons.
mm-hmm,
Some of them are good reasons, right? It might
mm-hmm,
really be risky. It might really be hard.
mm-hmm,
But it's also important to realize that we want to. If our heart is just wanting us to do something, if we're really called to do it, then we
Right.
should give ourselves the opportunity, right? We should
mm-hmm,
really do it.
Absolutely. Because we just know that you never know what's happened next. So
Yeah.
when we lose somebody or lose something, then you realize you lost it. But by that time is too late. So before you lose somebody, you say thank you and you show the appreciation, and then you have a communication, you ask questions, and so you don't feel, oh, it's too late, I should have done this, I should have done that, and then nothing like that. So that ties to the live fully every day, so then you don't have a regret.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the fact that we are going to pass at some point that
Mhm.
gives us the reason to do what's important right now, to do what's important for ourselves, for others, what's right in our life, right? It gives us having that possibility that we could die
Mhm.
next minute or tomorrow.
Mhm.
Means we want to be able to live today, right? It
Right.
makes
Yeah.
it meaningful.
Mhm. Yeah.
So um, would really encourage the audience to take that as a practice away.
Mhm. Surprising. Like I always constantly think that if I die now, if I die tonight, constantly think about it. And then I had a conversation with my friend, and then my friend said, "You think about your death?" And yeah, always. And I never thought of my death. And really, you never thought of your death? Yeah. So it's quite surprising that many people don't think about their own death, and let that guide you. Of
Well, that's exactly. I mean, where I come from on this particular subject is from Toltec teachings, right? I read Castaneda when I was young, and in Castaneda they talk about death as an advisor, and that's really the exact same thing that we're talking about right now. But they literally sit with their death and they talk to their death, right, as a practice. So if they're facing anything that of any consequence whatsoever, and that could be just, do I go to town today, right? Or could it be, something more substantial, a bigger decision? They actually they consult with their death, because the belief is that death is with you at all times, right?
Right.
It's just, and it is there not as a scary thing. It's not, there's nothing scary about it. It's simply there as actually a blessing to help you with living your life to the greatest degree you can right now, making the right decision right now.
Death and life comes together just like a coin, and
Yeah.
you can't embrace one, and you can't ignore one. You polish one side, and you don't polish one side, another side. That doesn't go like that. You polish one side, you polish another side, means that you polish your life and you polish your death. You have to embrace both, right? And then your life becomes really full.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing Dan said, that you can really get rid of the fear of the death by looking at it that way.
Yeah, exactly. It become, when you look at it that way, it really does become a blessing, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I see, because I pre-pandemic I used to be a active volunteer at the Hospice Society, and I see the death and dying process quite often, and I see the death as beautiful as the childbirth. It's like the death, the birth of the soul is the death, and it's a beautiful moment. And there's labor before that, and there's the birth of the soul. It might be painful, it might not be painful, but it's a beautiful moment. And I really hope that people can see that way. Then there's no fear.
Yeah, exactly.
It is beautiful. Like that's one reason I don't have fear of death, because I can feel the spirit is moving forward to another level, just to the other side, but where it's full of love and no pain, no struggle, right? It's just love. It's a beautiful place. And then I know that it's not like I believe, I know it, I can feel it. And
Yeah. It's not a belief, it is.
is, right? I can
Mhm.
feel it and I can see it, right?
Mhm.
So I know it, and then like a fear goes away,
Mhm.
and it's okay, and then death is just guiding us, right? And
Mhm.
hey, are you living your life fully today? Right? Wake up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree that the other
Mhm.
side is a beautiful place. It's only hard for us on this side
Mhm. Yeah.
when we go through that process of
Mhm.
losing somebody,
Mhm.
and there's a lot people who are going through that have our hearts and our blessings, and
Mhm.
anything we can do to help with that. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're here for that. So. Um, we probably should be, looking at the time here. So, Mari, you've been a wonderful guest again. You're
Mhm.
amazing. We
Yeah.
really
Thank you.
appreciate having you. And if anybody would like to work with Mary, she's at jidikanreikiwithmary.com and providing Reiki sessions and instruction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then next week
We'll
we
talk about the death again.
we will go into that talking from a little bit different angle,
Yes.
right? Dealing with others' death, focusing on more on that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Our relationships with people and that whole process that
Yeah.
we go
People.
through. Yeah.
Yeah. Relationship with people's death.
Hmm.
And
How we
how,
process
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we'll,
It's very important, and
mhm.
we're looking forward to that. And yeah, so thank you very much
Thank
again.
you very much. Thank you for having
Wonderful.
me. It was fun. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.